Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the re-debut of the Throwback here on the Around the Point Network. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your precious day to give us a listen as we go back in time in the world of pro wrestling and recap a show from back in the day. The good, the bad, and the ugly. If you are new to the Around the Point Network, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give this a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media and wherever it is that you share your favorite wrestling videos on all the platforms that you share videos, period. But what's going on, everybody? I am that Peruvian Fight TV extraordinaire. I am Steve. I'm here joined by the gang. We got first all the way from Florida. He's a man of many teams. The one, the only, Mr. Kaden Lee. Kaden, what's up, brother?
You know, I attempted to make some hamburgers tonight in my air fryer, and I'm not the greatest at it, to be perfectly honest. I don't think my air fryer is the best at cooking burgers, and they were not that good.
Now, were they already pre-made patties, or you had to?
I just got pre-made. I can't do that shit myself.
It's easy, brother. I'll teach you one day. I'll teach you. I'll show you.
I'm not a cooking person.
Don't worry, man. By the time I get through you, bro, you're gonna be like Gordon Ramsay, brother. I'm telling you. You're gonna be like Robert Irvine, Gail Kim's husband, by the way, world famous chef. And of course, we're joined here by the good brother, all the way from Detroit. He is the pride of Detroit, the enforcer here, the one, the only, Big Mike. What's poppin', bro?
Nothing much, man. Glad to be back. Glad to be doing this dang throwback again, man. It's been a while.
It's been like 2 years. It took a pandemic.
Yes, man. I wonder what was the last throwback we did.
I think it was some WCW or TNA. It's been such a long time.
I remember you was trying to get us to do the WCW New Bloods. What was it? The New Blood?
New Blood Rising. We watched it, but we never did anything about it.
Yeah, we never did anything about it. Thank God.
Now, listen, this is the thing about it, though. The good, the bad, the ugly. This is what you're going to get with the throwback, by the way. So we do have, if you go on the archives of this channel on the Around the Point Network, I almost call it Heel Steven. Sorry. It's still a habit of mine. I can't help it at times. There's videos of the throwback from back in the day. We reviewed SummerSlam 02. We did WCW Starrcade 97. We reviewed the Rumble, I think 92, 94. I think also 2001. Just to name you some samples. TNA, I think it was 2005. It was AJ, Daniels, and Joe. I think that was Victory Road, 2005. I could be wrong on that. It's been such a long time. Okay.
No, we actually did New Blood Rising. We recorded.
Did we really?
That was the last one we did.
That was the last one that we did.
No. The last one we did. Yeah, the last one we did was Royal Rumble 98. So, Royal 98. Hey, what better way to do it to kick it off with a build to Royal Rumble in 02?
Exactly. So, being that by the time you're watching this, you'll be watching this on a Monday morning to be exact. It's going to be the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. Raw Triple X, as Kaden would say.
Raw is porn. Raw is porn.
Raw is porn. Just make sure when you type in Google Raw Triple X Wrestling, right? Make sure you do that in the Google search bar.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't want to see the stuff that I've seen. Woo.
Unless you do, like if that's what you want to see, then like I'm not gonna blame you. But
no, we're not gonna blame you either. But hey, woo, Dios mío. But being that it's the 30th anniversary of Raw, we decided to we're gonna recap the first Monday Night Raw, but we decided to do something that we usually, it's a term we call in the culinary world, the kitchen world, if you will, 86 it. Scratch it, basically. So instead, we decided, because if you notice, right, if you watch Raw last Monday, they announced that Cody Rhodes, the road coaster, our boy Cody, right, he's returning at the Royal Rumble. And we decided to recap a Raw that featured a return. And in this return, the announcement of being in the Royal Rumble, we decided to go back all the way back in the day. Monday Night Raw, January 7th, 2002. New York City. Yeah. Monday Night Raw from January 7th, 2002. What happened? What's so funny?
I'm looking at, we did a WWE Invasion 2001. The thumbnail is amazing.
It is amazing. It is fucking.
It's both of our faces.
It is. Yes, it is.
I haven't looked back.
Can you just show it? I tell you what. Don't play the video. Like, just show if you can on the phone.
I hope I can.
But look at that, yo. Look at that, Kaden. Back in the day, yo. Just our creativity from back then. Shout out to Double
awesome, bro.
Listen, shout out to Double Z TV for actually taking the time to do that for us. At the time, I bugged them literally last minute. Hey, Zach, can you do me a solid, bro? Yeah, sure. What's going on, Steve? I need you to just do this for me, bro.
I think that was the play on the actual poster, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a spin-off on the poster itself. And also factor in that I was listening to something to wrestle with at the time, and I noticed in their thumbnail on the podcast, it was basically Bruce and Conrad. I'm like, you know what? Let's do this little spin-off that too. Why not, right? So, yes, we are recapping today on the first of two, the month of January. Recapping today, Monday Night Raw from January 7th, 2002. That took place in New York City, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, which featured the return of the cerebral assassin, who will go on to become the King of Kings, who go on to become WWE Hall of Famer, the head of creative now in WWE, the one, the only Triple H.
Yes, my GOAT. He's my GOAT. He's me and Chase's GOAT, but he's my GOAT.
Low-key, he's my go-to. Like, low-key, yo, like, here's the thing. When I was young, right, I liked Triple H, right? The music, the whole entrance, right? Motorhead, right? I have still friends till this day who don't even watch wrestling, but they know the Triple H entrance.
Right.
They know so they'll just do the water thing. But I'm like, wait a minute. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna play the music and I'll tell you when to do it. And you know exactly when to do it. So when he hears it, bam, and then he does it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, now do it. Oh, now it looks so fucking badass. Right? But listen, at the time when this went down, I was 12 years old. I was 12. Mike, how old were you, man, when this went down?
I was I was 6 turning 7.
You were 6 turning 7. Kaden, you, I believe, weren't even
my dad's nuts.
You weren't even in discussion at the time.
No, so I was born exactly a year later, 365 days later, January 7th, 2003. That's my birthday. Oh. So yeah, I was not born when Triple H made his return.
Oh, look at that, man. You were born, he was the world champion at the time, huh? Look at that, man. When someone would call the Reign of Terror, remember that? The Reign of Terror?
Yeah,
but here's the thing, right?
It was great.
But here's the thing, right? As I got a little older, right? And starting to know the ins and outs of pro wrestling, right? The hardcore side of it, right? You start to realize, oh my God, this guy is fucking, what the hell, man? He's beating everybody. What the hell, right? Not putting anybody over. But as you get older, like now I'm 32, right? You learn to appreciate someone like a Triple H. Yeah, but when he had his farewell at WrestleMania last year, right? Again, you learn to appreciate all that. Like, man, dude, this guy was the man, yo. This guy. Yeah. It's like that Vince clip, right? He was special.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. But yeah, we decided to, because of all this, recap this particular Monday Night Raw. And we're going to be honest, this Raw was not for everybody.
No, this Raw was a doozy.
This Raw
sucked.
This Raw. Listen.
I thought this Raw was hot garbage.
I love the return. The return was great. Everything built up to the return of Triple H.
Yeah.
But this show, man.
Yeah. I mean, WWE had their fair share of what we thought was great back then to what we know is great now. It's far few in comparison. and we've learned our lesson a lot.
So for all you guys that complain about Raw being shitty and garbage, right, every single week, come on.
I don't know. I'll take what we get now over this.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Again, times have changed, but again, there's a lot of us here, right? We do a Raw recap every single Tuesday, the Raw rundown, and we talk about Raw, not being so good at most of the time, and there's a lot of folks I guarantee you'll hear say, "Oh man, I wish Raw was the way it was back in the day," or you'll see people play clips on their social media from a segment or a brawl, what have you, from 2002, right? It was like, I always see this clip everywhere I'm at, like especially on Facebook, right? From some of my friends. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, The Rock, and Jericho, and then Booker T comes in, The Undertaker. And it's like this whole brawl's on SmackDown. Everyone's going crazy. And I get my friends to say, "Oh, this when wrestling was the shit, man. This was awesome, man." And you get people that will say that from times, "Man, I wish Raw was the way it was back in the day." Man,
yeah, there's a lot of revisionist history, the nostalgia factor of making the Attitude Era seem better than it was. Like, for somebody who never lived through the Attitude Era, when I go back and watch, I'm like, "Ooh, this is not good." Like, it's just not for me. I prefer in-ring wrestling. And when I see all of this, like the longest match on the show that this Raw was 8 minutes, everything else was sub 5. Like, there was nothing on this show that was intriguing to me.
Yeah, and now I think our taste in wrestling, is in-ring work has got to be somewhere in the equation. I think what wrestling has gotten away from, which was good back then, was more so not like the soap opera-y of things, but more so like the bang bang to different, stories. It's like everybody on the show had a story, had a talking segment, had a story to go through that led to like a crap match, but it still progressed like story, like on screen. Absolutely. That's what that feel of wrestling that we're kind of missing. More, but what we've gained is incredible athleticism and great matches, which also is where the brunt of the stories are held.
Absolutely. 100%. And those of you that are watching right now, let us know in the comments or in the chat. This is a premiere, by the way. You're probably thinking that we're live, but we're not really live. Let us know, at the time when this Raw went down, January 7th, 2002, how old were you? What were you doing? What was your thing? For me, again, like I said earlier, I was in 5th grade. I was 12 years old. Okay. This was literally, I want to say, a couple of months. Obviously, yeah. It was a couple of months after 9/11. And they went back to New York. New York, I always feel like WWE tries to make it a big time feel. Because they're home. It's the Mecca, right? Of any MSG, there's the Mecca of everything. Pro wrestling, boxing, you name it, right? So you always want to put your big moments, especially in this venue. It was so fucking amazing. But without further ado, Kaden, let's get into this. Big Mike, let's get into this, yo. Let's get into this. So what was the gate for this show, Kaden?
So the show had a recorded attendance of 13,978 people, and then the TV rating was a 4.9.
I guarantee you they would kill now to get that type of rating.
Yeah.
They would kill, bro. Holy crap. Now they get like what, 1.2, 1.1?
On Raw, they usually average around 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Or let me look, actually. I actually think they do because I think the 4.9, that's not total viewership. That's the 8, because ratings are 18 to 49. They typically do around a 0.05 or a 0.5.
Yeah. Like
we talked about, like when we were talking about AEW ratings earlier in the day, AEW today did a 0.31. Or on the January 18th show. did a 0.31, and this Raw did a 4.9.
Yes. But again, it's crazy to think, how times have changed. How, everything was different back in the day. Some for good, some for bad change. All right. Completely. Let's be clear on that. Okay. Because here's the thing about it, right? We're going to be honest. We're going to be completely honest here. Okay. So I'm watching this stuff, right? And I'm hitting up Mike, like, yo, Mike, this episode.
What is this?
What is this, yo? What is this? What's gonna happen? Oh my God, yo! And
when I watched it yesterday, I was like, oh God. I was like, oh my God, that happened. I was like, oh, there's gonna be this. I was like, what is going on? I didn't remember half of this stuff, right? Me neither.
And I'm like, oh boy, what the fuck did we get ourselves into here? But if someone's gonna do it, might well be us, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was a fun watch, but man, it's just we came a long way.
A long way. A long way.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Kaden, let's get into this, man. Let's get into this.
Yeah, this show opened with, it actually won't tell me the promo it opened with, which is weird, but it opened with Vince McMahon in the ring. He was scheduled to have a match at the 2002 Royal Rumble against Ric Flair. So he's complimented Flair, showed a video package of what Flair did in his career up until that point. And then he said, I already am the man. I don't need to beat the man to be the man. I am the man. And he put on Flair's robe, a wig of Flair. And then Flair came out, said, take my goddamn wig off. Take that goddamn robe off. And Vince beat him with a lead pipe, bloodied him up. I've actually seen the bloodied up Ric Flair from this. That's a pretty iconic picture.
Yes, like it's crazy, right? Because if you watch this, right, if you're watching this, like you can just tell again, when you're young, like, oh my God, this is crazy, right? But as you get older, it's like, man, you were bleeding even back in the day, even before that, right? But you notice right off the rip, he's about to get the blade. Like, hey, yo, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
Bro, as soon as Vince hit him with the lead pipe, he didn't even hit the ground automatically, and he took the blade simultaneously out his shirt and cut that sucker simultaneously. I noticed that it was blatant, and they tried to go quick. It's like Kevin Owens was like, oh, change. It was so blatant.
Change.
Like camera 8. Go to camera 8. But it was so blatant. My thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys caught this, but I feel like it's like I kind of go side and side with it today was what Vince is going through. Like what JR said as Vince was walking out is like, we're going to get the return of the most maniacal, sadistic human being that ever walked this earth. And it is Vince walking out. And I was like, how ironic is that compared to what's going on today?
For real. It's crazy. Like, yo, even things were fucked up then. Like, yo, again, in my mind, I'm like, if these motherfuckers only knew.
Right.
These motherfuckers
motherfuckers knew. Well, let's be real here. They knew.
No, they knew. What I'm saying is
based off of the dates of things that we know.
If they only knew how crazy it was gonna get, like, you know what I mean? Like if they thought what happened then was crazy, like, yo, wait about I'd say about 21 years.
Yeah.
Wait about 21 years. You'll see craziness. You'll see big time drama in WWE, in wrestling period, in pro wrestling period. Okay. So that happens. And again, they're having a match at the Royal Rumble, right? And this was Vince's way to humiliate Ric Flair, trying to embarrass him in his own home, that being Vince's home, MSG. And I loved how on commentary, Jerry Lawler is just happy as fuck about this shit. Like, yeah, Vince, keep beating him up. Keep doing that, Vince. All right, this is what have you. It's just small details like that, you know? Mm-hmm. But again, I enjoyed it for what it was. Mm-hmm. The fact that they're building up to their match, which if you remember, in the Watch Rumble 02, mm-hmm. that match was the bleeding shits. Mm-hmm. All right.
It was.
Big Mike, anything you want to add on to this?
No, not really. Even though I like the setup almost, because they do talk about like what led up to this moment is because Ric Flair was a 50-50 partner, became the 50-50 partner basically after the invasion. But no, I really don't have anything else to add on it. It was a funny segment though, but it's just so weird. There's just a little nitpicky things that I would never thought to see as a little kid to now as an adult.
Facts. Facts. Kaden, what about you watching it? Okay, you weren't around in 2002. You showed up a year later, but watching it, your thoughts?
Oh, this sucked. This wasn't good. To be honest, it was like one of the better things on the show. That was probably like the second best thing on the show, besides like the final segment. But that tells you how bad the show was that I'm having to praise a McMahon segment. Yeah, I don't know. The Flair mocking was fine. I didn't think it was really anything special. It seemed a little basic, but it's fine. Once Flair got out there, did not really care for the beatdown because it was obvious that this man was blading. Like he did it so obviously. Yeah. I think just also in hindsight, but I hate these two men. Like I really hate Vince and I really hate Ric Flair. So they opened the show up with two of the people who I hate the most in wrestling right now. Yeah. It immediately got me going, oh fuck, what did I sign up for?
It's almost interesting, because me and Steve have like unfortunately, these were like our childhood, I wouldn't say heroes, but like we have an emotional tie to both of these guys. And you know them as who they are, but all of the recent bad things that have came out actually. Yeah. So it's really interesting to hear your thoughts on all of this stuff with these two.
Absolutely. Let's get into the next thing. Yeah, let's get into this. Guys, give us also your thoughts in the chat or in the comment threads. Your memory of the Ric Flair Vince McMahon program from that began literally the day after Survivor Series, right? When Shane and Stephanie, Vince's bastard kids, sold their stock in the consortium, right? And now right. Vince and Rick were 50-50 owners and all that shit. Let's move on. Let us know though in the chat.
Oh, Rob Van Dam versus Test.
This is Test.
Test is so bad.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to Test. Yeah,
rest in peace.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam doing his best. Really over at this moment. Test like shoved the ref. Apparently, there was some storyline where he had immunity from a Battle Royal win at Survivor Series. Battle Royal. Yeah, Van Dam with a bunch of kicks. The ref pushed Test, and RVD almost got the victory there. A few minutes go by, or not even a few minutes, like a few seconds go by because this was a 3-minute and I think 45-second match. And RVD hits that 5-star frog splash on the Test and beats him. I mean, this was there. Definitely a match that happened. I really don't like Test. Yeah.
We hear you, man. Listen, fun little fact though, guys. This was also Rob Van Dam's MSG debut on Monday.
This was, yeah. They mentioned that this was his first time in Madison Square Garden.
So that had to be a big
deal. It was also Flair's first time in MSG since 1991, I believe.
Yes, it was.
In the opener. They said it was his first time since 91.
Now, I have a question, Mike, because I know you watched all that stuff too. So did you, Kaden. At the time of this match, One of a Kind was not his theme song, right? or maybe it was, but they edited it out or something.
No, this One of a Kind didn't like become what it was until like 03.
Because I do remember him in the Rumble, or was it WrestleMania 18? He had One of a Kind. Because I remember buying the Forcible Entry album when they came out in 2002. And I remember the time no two, the song was there, so I figured.
Chase, cut this out. Chase, cut this out in post.
Oh no. I mean, it's sort of. I mean, it's his theme song. So
yeah, it's iconic theme song. Iconic theme song when you think about it. But yeah, let's move on.
Okay, I was like, does this story go anywhere?
Point it out, damn. Because remember, it's on Peacock now, so I'm sure a lot of shit was edited out.
Yeah, they don't. They aren't known for editing out theme songs.
ECW One Night Stand 2005. Enter Sandman.
There's there's a few, but next up, oh no. Trish and Terry argue at WWF New York.
I've been there so many times. I've been there so many times, yo.
I've never been to, like, the restaurant's closed, but it is now a Hard Rock Cafe in Times Square, and I actually did go there when I went to Monday Night Raw. I went to Monday Night Raw at MSG this summer, that first Monday Night Raw that Hunter had control of. And I didn't go and eat before, but I did go into the gift shop before because I was like, I gotta on my way to walk to MSG. I was like, I gotta go inside WWF New York. But yeah, they argued. Terry said, I'm more athletic than you. And then Trish said, well, what do you want, Terry? Do you want a bra and panties match? Do you want a lingerie match? And then you hear Jerry Lawler going, whoa, hey. Puppies. Man's coming in his pants over there in MSG, blocks away, just going everywhere. And then they said that they were going to have a wet, and then she said, no, I want a wet t-shirt contest, Trish. And then you hear Jerry Lawler go, Holy!
Yes.
Oh, God. Everything about this was fucking god-awful. This was like before Trish was like actually allowed to wrestle. They just had her be a girl with big tits. That's all this was.
This segment, I mean, the little kid from back then was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But now is like, man,
it was.
We came so far.
Yes. If I can go back in time like I did in 2020, talk to the old me, if I can go back and talk to the ladies that were wrestling fans back in the day, girls, it gets better. Trust me, baby. It gets better.
Yeah.
It does. Trust me.
Yeah, we got so many.
Better.
Yeah, we got so many like women's wrestlers to look up to and great matches, and they don't have to degrade themselves or anything like that. But even hearing like past stories, like I believe the short run of what Terry Reynolds had in her podcast, she hated doing this stuff.
Yeah, she did.
She hated it. Like she made it known. Like I hated every single ounce of doing it. So it's like looking back on it, it's like, man, this is crazy.
Well, come on, pal.
True, but it's like, man, it's like
we've come a long way. We have come, but again, I've been in that place numerous times. WWF New York, numerous times.
Yeah.
Every time I went to New York, I had to go in there. I had to until they closed down. But yeah, we knew that was happening later in the night.
Yeah, a t-shirt contest later in MSG. Next up, Billy and Chuck taking on Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty. Another match that was 3 minutes 45 seconds. Billy and Chuck came out before the match and said that they should be in a wet t-shirt contest. This actually was funny. I thought this was actually really funny.
Me too. I thought
Billy goes, Chuck, get your hose out and show all these people. And then this guy Too Hotty's using it, and then they kept referencing his hose. They had Billy hit like the stumble into the balls, and then I think it was JR goes, "Oh no, his hose! By God, his hose!" That was the best thing on the show, in my opinion, was the hose talk. This was like, actually, like, I didn't hate this. I thought this was like okay. There was some funny shit in this. At least it made me laugh. The finish was Chuck super kicked Albert down, and the famouser is enough to pin Scotty Too Hotty.
I was a big fan of Chuck and Billy back in the day. I had their action figure.
I don't even know. I don't know who Chuck is. I did not.
You don't know who Chuck Palumbo is?
Or Albert. I think Albert is the guy who's in the PC now.
Matt Bloom.
Yeah, that's Matt Bloom.
Yeah, Matt Bloom, who was also Lord Tenzai.
Yeah. That's him. That was
I knew
former gimmick A Train.
Oh yeah, A Train too. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I was a big Chuck and Billy fan back in the day. I had that gimmick action figure as a kid. I remember vividly playing with Billy Gunn as a kid. Just imagine.
You played with Daddy Ass as a boy.
I played with Daddy Ass. Yes, I did. way before.
That in 2002, and then 2023, we're talking about Daddy Ass making dick jokes still.
Yeah,
scissoring and scissoring.
Yeah, you had
that
scissoring.
Was his whole thing.
You had the thing about the hose, and now we got scissoring with Daddy Ass.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a handful of years before this, he was Mr. Ass with DX.
Yeah.
And he was the one Billy Gunn. And then he was with Chuck and Billy. And then soon after that, Rico would come in.
Oh, baby, you.
That theme song was great.
Good to me. Yeah.
That was a great theme song.
It was classic. It was fucking classic. Yeah. And then they had the little wedding segment on SmackDown months later, and 3-minute
I remember
warning.
when he proposed. He proposed to him.
Yep, on TV.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what's going on here?
Is this normal? Like, what? This happened?
Yeah. It was funny how that turned out, too. But
yes.
But this match as a whole, it was okay. I was a big Scotty Too Hotty fan here, too. As well.
Okay, Mike.
It was great to see that as well.
I was a fan of Scotty Too Hotty as well, Mike.
Yeah, I was Scotty Too Hotty. I didn't mean to say.
Yeah, I know.
I got my tongue twisted.
Yes. It was a short match, though. I mean, I didn't go crazy about. I mean, MSG lost their. I mean, again, the worm was iconic. You know, and again, at MSG, they went apeshit for it. Ate it up. I think it's crazy to think, even till this very day. I know he's still wrestling. All right, he's still wrestling on the independent scene. Still doing the damn thing.
His full name was Scott Taylor, right?
Scott something. I forgot. But the point is, though, he is still doing the worm, right? Kaden, like on the indie scene, he's still doing the worm. It's still getting
that's what he got over with.
And he's still getting that reaction. Granted,
he was a better jobber than Disco Inferno.
Let's put it that way. Yes, let's put it that way. But again,
call him a jobber. I mean, he was in a great tag team in like the early Attitude Era with
Too Cool,
with Grandmaster Sexay and Rikishi, them as a trio.
Yes, rest in peace. By the way,
yeah, rest in peace. Yes, rest in peace.
Yes. So let's move on here. What else happened in 2002? And on this Raw,
next up, we had Jericho backstage saying that he does not want to face Rikishi. Talks about his face being good. This was back when Jericho was a little bit attractive. So then we had Michael Cole. Actually, I liked this a lot too. I yelled "what" at my screen. Michael Cole backstage. Austin comes up to him, and then they do the what. And he goes, talking about facing him and Stone Cold Steve, him and The Rock are going to face Booker T and the Big Boss Man. He goes, I'm going to face Booker T. What? I'm going to face Booker T. What? I'm going to face Booker T. What? It was great. I really like this. I haven't seen a lot of these promos in my life, so this was great. He goes, tonight he's here to enter the Royal Rumble, which is the match where you take a man and throw him over the top rope. Then you take another, what? Then 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 another, what? And he goes for 28 times. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He literally did it every single one. And then he goes, I'm going to team up with The Rock. What? I'm going to team up with The Rock. What? I'm teaming up with The Rock. What? It was great. This was awesome.
I recommend you watch, just skim through it to get to the promo, because I believe the next Raw after that, they go to Texas.
They did go to Texas.
They go to Texas, and Stone Cold does the what promo, but with like him going to Whataburger and saying what he's gonna order and all that type of stuff. So go to that Raw, and then I think it's like in the middle of the show, and then watch that whole promo. The promo was great. I was watching it before we got on here to record this.
Yeah, this was good. Lawler has a water gun to get ready for the t-shirt contest. JR says, is that ice cold water you got in there? He goes, yeah, I want to see the puppies pop out.
This type of commentary would not slide in today's television.
God, no. I hate Lawler so much.
I think Lawler, I think for the 25th anniversary show, I think he did a puppies joke. When they went sleep. Yeah, and I think it flew over everybody's head. But I forget who was in the ring at the time, because they were in two different sides. They were like they were in two different locations. They was at the Manhattan Center, and they were at another
they
location.
were at Barclays.
They were at Barclays.
Yeah, I know he said, like, because he was on the WrestleMania 38 kickoff show both nights, and apparently he said some like really vile shit.
Yeah.
I didn't listen. Because I was at the show, so I was
I don't remember
doing shit. So I was
either at all.
Like one day, I was at Mission Pro the Saturday before WrestleMania, and then Sunday I was with my dad. And we were just like walking around the venue. But next up we had 1 minute and 10 seconds of Edge defeating Lance Storm. Edge hitting the execution. This was 70 seconds.
This is what I don't miss.
Here's what I loved about the match. Here's what I loved. The Rob Zombie theme song.
How do you love anything about this match when there's no match?
The one thing I love about it, just the theme song. That's it. This Edge coming out to Rob Zombie. Never gonna stop me. Never gonna stop me.
And I had the privilege to hear that theme song in person in 2004.
Lucky you.
When he returned at the draft.
Well, no, maybe one day we'll be recapping that show down the road.
Maybe down the road. I want to breathe in between in.
Yes. But yeah, it was a short match. Nothing to go crazy about. At the time, Edge was feuding with William Regal, which after the match,
William Regal comes and takes him out to the brass knucks.
Yes.
Then we had Kurt Angle backstage complaining to the European champion Christian about Triple H returning. Angle says that he saved the company at Survivor Series, and it's Angle that brings happiness and joy to children every day. He goes, I tore my quadricep this morning, and I'm here tonight.
He tore his quad this morning.
And he says, and then we get into Steve Austin, The Rock versus the Big Boss Man and Booker T. Booker and Boss Man come out first. Then it's Raw and Austin, and we get a brawl to begin. This match, the first probably 4 minutes, is just brawling, and even in the ring, it's still more brawling back and forth. Then we get the jumping clothesline from The Rock. Boss Man hits a running clothesline in the corner. The Rock hits the spine buster on Booker T. The Boss Man breaks up the people's elbow. Then the bookend onto The Rock. But Austin breaks it up. Boss Man comes in to fire off Anita Rock's chest, and Booker adds a super kick for 2. Austin breaks things up again, and this time it's enough for the hot tag to the Rattlesnake. The Boss Man seems to have issues with, that's not what I wanted to see. this person's like, I have somebody's notes, so I have notes for the matches. This guy's notes are fucking terrible. But everything breaks down. Stone Cold hits the stunner, 1, 2, 3. This was the longest match on the show, and not necessarily good.
I mean, what I can say about it, hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, 2002 me, man.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing ever.
Star power, yo. It was
star power in the match.
Star fucking power, yo. You can't hate it. You can't fucking hate it for what it's worth. You know what I mean? That's today, you know, what would happen if you had, I guess, name me 2 guys that you think would be like, you know, that would get that type of like, man, this is crazy. This is like a dream team. Who would you compare like now? Like if you would go to like a building, right? What used to be like, oh my God, like this is like a dream team almost teaming up. For you, Kaden, who would it be?
Right now?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what you like in wrestling. For me, it would be Kenny and Okada.
Me too.
Or like even I could also say like,
and that happened.
Yeah, that did recently happen. I would even say like, if you're gonna cross promotions, Kenny and Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
I think
Okada Roman Reigns. Ooh.
Okada and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins and Will Ospreay.
John Cena Tanahashi. Ooh, buddy.
That's a good one, but I wouldn't. Let's, Roman Reigns and Cody.
Oof.
And that can kind of happen.
That could realistically, I think we're gonna have. But like in a tag team, I think like, I mean, if you're thinking about AEW though, it's either your top guys are Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega, and you've seen Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson in the Fed already. So then I think for me, it's got to be Kenny Omega, or if you're going across the waters, it's Okada over anybody, or Will Ospreay. If you put Ospreay and Rollins, then that's a big one because of their Twitter beef. I think Kenny Omega and Rollins, Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega, Kevin Owens.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we said them all, man. I think the most I think I would want to see Kenny Omega and Seth Rollins team together.
Yeah.
Who else? Maybe like Jay White and Seth.
Yeah.
But everything you guys said was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up on Raw was Rikishi versus Chris Jericho, a non-title match. Jericho was the undisputed champion at the time, the first ever undisputed champion. This was all about Rikishi trying to hit that stink face, but the ref kept stopping it. And then at one point, the ref gets pulled it's the ref, and then Jericho's ahead of him and right in front of him in the corner. They're both down in the corner because Jericho pulled him in, and then Jericho moves out the way at the last minute. Rikishi stink faces the ref. Jericho, when the ref is out because of the stink face, hits him with the titles, and then pins Rikishi. Rikishi's like shoulders were not even down on the mat. The ref didn't even look, but the ref was so pissed about taking the stink face. Like that's what they said on commentary was the ref took the stink face. He was so mad about taking the stink face. And Jericho pinned Rikishi. This was another bad match.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it was there. Yeah, it was there. I mean, it's just the allure of, is Jericho going to get his face desecrated by Papa Uso? That's all it is. That's all it is.
But backstage after this, we had Big Show, Tori, and Tajiri talking about Triple H coming back. Angle says they're acting like teenagers at a Ricky Martin concert. Shout out to Tajiri. He was referenced on Dynamite this week. So the man's having a big week for us. I've seen Tajiri twice this week, or heard about him twice this week. So shout out to Tajiri. They had the recap of the Vince Flair thing. the Dudleys were in a confrontation backstage with Taz and Spike Dudley. They tell the Dudleys tell Taz to remember where he came from, and he says, let's go out there and I'll show you guys where we came from," and says, this was a 3-minute match, or 3 minutes 45-second match. The match before was 3:27. There were 3 matches on the show that were 3 minutes 45 seconds. Okay, Spike Dudley and Taz defeat the Dudley Boys after Stacy Keibler went to go flash grass at Taz. Instead, Bubba Ray sees it, gets thrown into the chair with the Spike Dudley Bulldog, and they are the new tag team champions. This is a hardcore match. Steve. It
was a hardcore match. It was. Again, factor in, Taz was back at the Garden where he debuted at that time 2 years ago, Royal Rumble, and where he had his Rumble debut. Like he debuted at the Rumble, right? At 2000, right?
Say it again.
He did, right? Taz debuted in the Rumble of 2000, right? In that match with Angle. That was his debut, right?
Yeah, in 2000.
So at that time, hey, 2 years later, you're back at the Garden. Now you're teaming up with Spike Dudley. You win the tag titles. Even if it was for a short run, it was to get a moment more than anything, and it did. Granted, it was a short match, but there was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Vince, he was more, capable of doing this back then. You've seen a lot of rinky-dink tag teams win tag team titles back in those days. And when I saw this, I was like, man, what were they doing? Like, I understand it, but man, what were they doing?
Facts.
And this is like the same year we get wasn't it at WrestleMania X8? It was a TLC match, huh?
No, it was a regular. At WrestleMania was 2002. Was it just a Fatal 4-Way tag team match?
It was a Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Oh,
yes.
Okay. And X7 was the one. Huh?
Yeah.
So next up, we had the wet T-shirt contest. Unfortunately, Terry goes first. Oh yeah, Jerry Lawler's judging it, and he's got the
super soaker,
ice cold water to see the puppies.
The line of the cigarette, like the cigar, like yo.
Yes, he goes. Once we're done, we can all have a cigarette and go home. That was actually a good line. Unfortunately, I have to give them credit because that was a funny line. The Terry goes first. You can see the puppies. Then Trish is getting ready to go, and Jazz beats her up. Jerry freaks out and looks like he's about to beat up Jazz, and then Jazz gets out of there, and JR goes, "Oh, Jazz, she ruined this whole thing." But let's get into what actually matters. Triple H makes his return. Yes. Absolutely massive pop in Madison Square Garden. Even though they were they knew, right? Like it was advertised that Triple H was going to be there, and even though they knew, he says he's back. I have the quote: "If my cage match wants to work, I am the game, and you can bet your ass I'm back." He enters the Royal Rumble. Kurt Angle comes out and interrupts him and says that he's also entering the Rumble because he said earlier in the night that he had a huge announcement to make that was going to be better than anything Triple H had to say. He goes, "I too will be entering the Royal Rumble." And then they brawl, and a Triple H hits that pedigree, ends the show. That is Monday Night Raw. The Triple H was just literally just to get Triple H to hit a pedigree on this show.
It was. And, again, it was a big reaction. People were waiting for it. People were literally, they had no choice. The final segment of the show. But other than that, he got that major pop, that major reaction. Babyface Triple H. Yes. And he made you wait for it. It's like, it felt, here's the thing. Now, if I remember back in the day, it took him forever to talk.
Mm.
This is why I said, it did.
It took him a long.
So that's why I was saying maybe they did edit some things out from the original things just so he can start talking and stuff. But when he, again, you knew what he was going to do. Let me remind just who in the hell I am, in case you forgot. I am the game, and I officially entered the Royal Rumble. You got everyone crazy. Which is why we kind of decided to review this, because we talked about this earlier, Cody Rhodes, granted, it's not the same caliber of a return as Triple H did back in 2002. There are video packages, right? Mm-hmm. But you knew where it was going. You knew where this was going with Cody. He's back in the Rumble, right? And just like Hunter in 2002, Cody must win in 2023.
Right.
When it's all said and done. And that's how they wrap up Monday Night Raw. Him celebrating on the Titantron, by the entrance ramp, celebrating, right? Flexing, what have you. Mm-hmm. That's the show went off the air at MSG. Yeah. Again, young me back then, man, this was fucking awesome, man. And this was literally the talk of everyone in my school. This was cafeteria talk the next fucking day. Triple H came back. Holy crap, did you guys see it? Oh my God, this is going to be crazy. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble. He's going to fucking win, right?
Yeah, this was top 10, top 5 returns.
Yeah.
Of all time.
That pop was huge.
Yeah, was great.
This is the reason we sat through an hour and 25 minutes of dog shit up until this.
Yeah.
So should we rate the show? If you know my rating.
Young me would have said the show was fucking amazing. Young me. Again, now I'm 32. I rewatched it. Living in the world that we live nowadays, man, have we come a long way. Literally.
Right.
Jerry Lawler came a long way earlier in the night.
He literally multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
I will say the second funniest thing I heard all night was when JR said, "Don't be shooting that thing off prematurely," when he had the water gun. He goes, and then he was like, "JR, I can't believe you said that." And he goes, "Oh, I bet you do that a lot."
Facts, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think also when when Lawler was in the ring, he accidentally shot it a little too quickly, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't happen a lot."
I'm sure it does now. I'm sure it does now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless that man needs a blue chew.
Unless his blue chew is working, but
that man uses a lot of blue chew.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure you
guys think he uses blue chew code Fightful?
Real soon, hopefully around the point, AT point, or hopefully down the road. But and nonetheless, it was a great moment seeing Triple H come back.
Yeah.
Again, did that make me want to look forward to? And again, I always say this, right? The road to WrestleMania, right, begins to meet January. That gets you excited for the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
That show made me want to, again, look forward to the Rumble. Granted, there were more Raws before the Rumble of 2002 that took place.
Yes.
But that show made you want to tune in next week. You watch Raw nowadays, it's like, next week I'll just watch the clips, whatever.
Right.
So look how far we've come. That's what I'm also want to get into also when I say look how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, young me, this was a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 show. Favorite wrestler came back. Got to see some boobies. Got to see all that stuff.
Some nips.
Yeah, but now it's like, man, this show, like, ring work was like terrible. Some of the stories were fun.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like for me, it's all I prefer in ring over anything else in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So for me, do I think it, like, the crowd is a million times better than anything we'll get today in WWE, like besides AEW. The AEW crowd's great, but in WWE,
like all the posters and stuff in the crowd, crowd participation. This was a really good crowd, but
for me, what I need in my wrestling is I need in ring. And while Raw might not be like the greatest show most of the time, like I thought this week's Raw was not the greatest, and most Raws aren't. Better in ring than anything we saw tonight, at least. And that's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So, Steve, why don't you take us out?
So this has been the first edition of the return of the Throwback for the month of January. This is part 1 because we'll be doing a second Throwback next week for New Year's Revolution 2005. So after that is once a month, just to get that clear. In case someone's wondering, hey, are you guys doing 2 in February? Because you know someone's going to ask. We're saying this now, but watch somebody ask, hey, guys, you doing 2 in February? Nah.
Right. I called it audible because I wanted to do.
I mean, who knows? Maybe down the road. I mean,
it depends on how we're feeling after this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to be the next month. It's not going to be the next month after that. Hey, it could be for a year from now. You get two throwbacks in a day.
Imagine shit you kill. All right. But we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you did. Again, if you are new to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ I don't know how do they do it now? /@ATP. It's just type in Heel Steven. You'll see the channel. Okay. Or type in Around the Point Network.
Mm-hmm.
Type in Around the Point Network on YouTube and you'll see this channel. All right. Hit the subscribe button where the numbers are going up subscriber wise. We're trying to get there. And all that fun stuff. All right. This channel is active almost every fucking day. All right. Monday, Steve's Kitchen. Tuesday, the Raw Rundown. Wednesday, Let's Talk NXT. Thursday, we give you guys something about Dynamite. That is the AEW Dynamite recap that we do, which I think is everyone's favorite. It's kind of becoming everyone's favorite thing, kind of out of the whole series that we do here. And of course, our flagship show, Around the Point. We are also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you do have those platforms, please give us the 5-star rating. Follow us there too, and give us do they still give like comments and stuff like that, reviews, like besides the star rating? If they do, you know what to do. All right. You can follow me on Twitter @Heel Steven. Big Mike, let them know where can they check you out, man.
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter @Detroit Gamer 313 and every day on the Around the Point Network.
And of course, Mr. Kaden Lee, let them know.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Kaden Lee _ KADENLEE_ on Twitter. And here on Around the Point, I do a lot of stuff.
Exactly. You're everywhere, man. You're everywhere. Well, we thank you. We thank everyone for tuning in today. This has been the first of many throwbacks here on the Around the Point Network. Good day, everyone.